Yeah, I would ask them if they needed any help, or like maybe give them my notes or like my planning.
I'd say I could give them tips, but I wouldn't give them my own essay. Yeah.
Depending on how much I trust them, I may or may not give it to them. If I did, I'd probably give them an early draft rather than one of the later ones, although if I didn't really know them, I probably wouldn't give them my essay at all.
If you lend your work to another student, you run the risk of being accused of collusion. Collusion is a form of plagiarism where two or more students work together to create work with the intention to deceive and to gain an unfair advantage. If you lend your work to another student and that student copies parts of it and hands it in as their own work, and this is detected, it can be very difficult for the lecturer and the plagiarism officer to identify which student copied and which student was the innocent party. So you may well find yourself up in front of me, the plagiarism officer, in a plagiarism hearing, accused of collusion when you actually have done nothing intentionally wrong. So never ever take that risk. However much you trust your fellow students, it just isn't worth the risk, because it's very, very hard to prove for sure that you didn't do it on purpose and that you were the innocent party.
Yeah, as a student, you probably just use it anyway, accept the consequences.
I would go see if anyone else in the course has used like the same book or anything, see if they've got the author. If not, I'd probably Google it, or go to the library, because if there's one in the library, I'll just say that I found it in the library.
I'd probably go on Google and type in some of the notes that I found, so then Google would help me find the author and then I could just quickly reference it.
Right, well the simple answer is that if you can't find the sources, if you've lost the sources, then you shouldn't use them. If you use evidence without referencing it correctly, then you are likely to be found guilty of plagiarism, and that is a risk that you run if you use the sources. So basically you need to go back and try and find them, and that can be a very time-consuming process, but I could never ever advise a student to use sources without referencing them correctly. So this is a very compelling argument for students to keep very good notes, to make it clear in their notes where they're quoting directly and when they're putting something into their own words, and also to get into the habit of keeping a research diary or a research log, so recording where they looked for things, what search terms they used, and what they found as a result of that, because that will really help them when they go back and they need to maybe review the work, look for similar sources, and of course when they come to reference the information that they've used.
Plagiarism is stealing or copying someone else's work without referencing to them.
When I see plagiarism, I think people would have copied off the internet, especially because you can get people to do your essays for you, and it's not your own work.
Plagiarism just basically means it's not your work, so it's using somebody else's work. Basically it's cheating.
UEA defines plagiarism as the unauthorised use of another person's work. So that can cover a range of different activities. It might include including somebody else's words, either directly quoted or in close paraphrase, or it might be unintentional. It might be as a result of poor referencing and the student not actually accurately recording the source or making it clear when they're quoting from another source. So just students should always be aware that plagiarism isn't always intentional, it may be unintentional, but that the university regards all forms of plagiarism as a form of cheating because it gives them an unfair advantage. And there are a range of penalties to reflect the seriousness of the nature